Welcome back to Morgborg Tech. This is the retro unboxing of the ASUS ZenFone 2E for AT&T GoPhone. This is a phone that came out around the middle of 2015 as sort of a mid-range contender for those looking at prepaid smartphones. This was a cheaper version of the higher-end ASUS ZenFone 2. So this was more budget-oriented while keeping some of the features of the ZenFone 2. I bought this a little while ago off of eBay for about $18, so definitely a good deal if you ask me. But back in the day, off of Best Buy's website, I was able to find when this phone first came out, it retailed at about 120 bucks, but later on as the phone got older, newer phones came in, price was lowered to 70, and when it was being discontinued, it was on clearance for $31. So definitely a good price I picked this one up for. So let's just take a look at it here and we'll unbox it and set it up. You can see the software. So we'll start here. We have the AT&T logo. This is a bit of a newer package design. The phone here, a picture of it. 4G LTE. We can see here we are given a bonus black back cover. If you can tell by this, the standard one is white. Name of the phone. No contract, no credit check. That is a pretty nice feature of no contract prepaid service. They appeal to people with either no credit history or poor credit history. So you can see here, date October 2015, so that's probably about how old this phone is. So this phone is 8 years old. 2015 was quite a while ago. Here's a featured plan: unlimited talk, text, and data, 4 gigabytes of high-speed data, and down here, after that, data will throttle to 128 kilobytes per second. Includes Mexico and Canada at no extra charge. And that is a $60 a month plan. Inside here, we have more plan information. You can pause to read that. And this here is a featured plan that was on the front. So you can see it would have been $55 a month with, they call it auto refill, but that's just a fancy way of saying auto pay. Here's the actual phone. Preloaded apps. So you get some AT&T bloatware plus Google Maps. That's a standard app. Data usage and subscription charges may apply, obviously. We have Android Lollipop on this phone, a 5-inch HD 720p IPS display, an 8 megapixel rear camera with 2 megapixel front, and a dual core 1.6 gigahertz Intel Atom processor, which is pretty interesting because while the Intel Atom is a mobile-oriented processor, very few mobile devices actually used it. Instead, the preferred processor would have been a Qualcomm processor. 8 gigabytes internal storage, expandable up to 64 with a micro SD card. Around the side here, we get more fine print. This plastic's a little rough. Just a bunch of fine print there. And our barcodes, as we can see, Android 5.0.1 should be the version of Android that this phone is running. We will find out later if that is the case. On the back, they give us this to open the package, but I'm not going to open the phone this way because from other people's experiences that I've seen online, this really doesn't work well, so I'm going to try to open this box a different way. And we have more information here. And the contents, the phone, both back covers, a non-removable lithium-ion polymer battery, power adapter, USB cable, micro USB, phone and feature guide, SIM card, quick start guide, user guide, and GoPhone terms and conditions of service. That is the AT&T texting and driving message, just reminding you once again to not text and drive. A message that up to this point in 2015 they had been giving to customers for quite a few years. So I've broken out these big scissors for this unboxing. I'm going to try to cut around here. As you can see, because the package is kind of worn, if I can open this like how I think I will, I can cut it down just enough to where the plastic will split and this entire top will just lift up. So I will be back with the results. I don't think it gets any easier than that, because what I had planned with this package went very well. So what I did was I cut up to this point in the package all around and down. I only had to take a little bit off of here, and I cut in just a little bit to make the package open just a little easier so it wouldn't try to close as much. And yeah, the entire thing comes up because the hinge with the cardboard is still intact, opens up just like this. So if you happen to encounter one of these packages with the hinge, the GoPhone design with the hinge for the plan information, that is how you should open this. Granted, you have one of these scissors. This is about $10 at Walmart, so very cheap. Didn't create too much plastic, so that is probably the easiest time I'll ever have with a GoPhone box. And I'll clean up the plastic and come back. So now let's go through the box contents. Here is the phone. Comes out just like this, wrapped in plastic. Got a curve on the back going all the way around. Pretty interesting design. Let's set that to the side. There's nothing else inside there, so we can keep digging. Here's the additional back cover. Got this rubbery texture. I'll demonstrate this later. Here's the charging brick, just a standard brick. Wrapped in plastic, rated at 1.35 amps. I will not be removing that plastic. Here's our micro USB cable, USB-A to micro USB. Just a standard cable. I'll be leaving that in the bag. Here are our documents. Quick start guide. This is upside down. Just telling you about autopay, and it's in Spanish. The user guide in shrink wrap. the phone and feature guide. This might come in handy if I ever decide to do a retro review on this phone. Our notices. Our warranty card. So I'll get cleaned up here and then we can proceed. So here's the phone and the additional back cover. So let's start by taking the plastic off. Looks like it comes off in one piece. And here we have a pretty standard back cover here. Not rubbery like this one. This one's rubbery, this one's more smooth. Not glossy at all. Hardly glossy, doesn't even reflect anything. So let's take off this back cover. As we can see, the SIM card is pre-installed. Taking it out. That is a micro SIM. I was wondering what size it was. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that in there unless we have issues with that. And the battery must be in this general area. Looks like it would require some disassembly should anything go wrong with that battery. So putting this back cover on. Looks good, honestly, but I'm going to go ahead and put the other back cover on just because that is the default. This one is a little stuck. There we go. Some of those clips were pretty tight. Let's get this one back on. Something tells me the back cover has to go in at the top first before snapping the rest of it in. Set this to the side, and let's take a look at this phone before powering it on. Starting with the front, here is the earpiece, and this might also be the speaker. Yeah, this looks like just the earpiece. The ASUS logo, the front-facing camera, and this might be a sensor if this phone has adaptive brightness. Our 5-inch display. Back, home, and recent, unless this is for some reason a menu key, but that looks like recent apps. And here's this interesting textured plastic on here. Almost reminds me of an HTC phone from about a decade ago. On the left side is nothing. On the bottom is a microphone and our micro USB port. On the right side is our port for removing the back cover. On the top is the power button, the headphone jack, and another microphone. On the back is our rear camera, a flash, and this looks like our volume rocker, just like an LG phone when LG released the G3 and later the G4 had the volume keys on the back. AT&T logo, the ZenFone logo, and our speaker. Probably muffles pretty easily if I had to guess, because I highly doubt the speaker goes the whole length like this. So let's turn this phone on if it has power. Looks like I'm going to have to charge this phone for a minute. Alright, so this phone has been charging for about 20 minutes, so let's give it some power. Alright, so that was actually very quick, and let's set this phone up. I'll go ahead and do it on camera for us. I'll do only Wi-Fi, since I won't be activating this. Skip the Wi-Fi. Skip the screen lock. Skip that. I'll go ahead and set up the time. Alright, that is done, so let's keep going. Go ahead and turn these off. Setup is complete. So you can see the battery's still quite low, so it didn't have a chance to charge much. Let's go to about here. Android 5.0.1, just as it said on the box. Classic Easter egg. Very difficult. Granted, I'm looking through my camera to do this, but it probably wouldn't be much easier off camera. I can't even get to 1. It's the hardest game of Flappy Bird ever. Go to storage. 8 gigabytes internal. Available is 3.26. So this phone uses quite a lot of storage out of the box. So yeah, that's the ASUS ZenFone 2E. So that's the retro unboxing of the ASUS ZenFone 2E for AT&T GoPhone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.